students, welcome to our YouTube channel. So today we'll start with the chapter 3, Salient Features of the Constitution. So before that, you all need to know that the Prelims Revision Carnival UPSC CSE 2020 has already started and Special Classes Festival has begun, and it had already started from 5th September 2020 and we had 400 plus live classes. Then Unacademy UPSC Championship 2.0 All India Free Mock Test Series will be provided, and UPSC CSE Prelims 2020 2021 Paper 1 GS, and you will also get a chance to win to meet UPSC CSE 2019 toppers, Unacademy educators, and subscription scholarship. So it has already started from 30th August, 6th September, 13th September, 20th September, and 27th September. You can enroll now. Only 32 days are left for exam for Prelims, so complete preparation for UPSC CSE 2020 will be provided under Unacademy. So this one subscription has unlimited benefits. One, that you can learn from your home. Second, unlimited access to all the courses. There are top educators of India all in one platform. We have full syllabus coverage. We have regular doubt clearing session, live test series, study material in the form of PDF format. Answer writing sessions will also be taking place on under the mentorship and guidance of our Unacademy tutors. So next, UPSC CSE Complete Preparation Batch courses has started from 7th September 2020. We have 3 batches. The first batch is a bilingual batch in which we have the medium of instructions in both English and Hindi. And the second is in complete Hindi. The instructions will be given in Hindi and material will also be provided in Hindi. And the third, we have complete English batch in which the instructions and material will be provided in English. So if you all subscribe now, you will get 10% off if you apply this code SIMPLEYT. So T20 Daily Current Affairs Test Series is given completely free, and it will start daily from 7:30 p.m. 20 questions, 20 minutes, 40 marks, along with your test analysis. So if you like our YouTube channel, you can subscribe on Unacademy Articulate, or you can join in Telegram, or you can join the Facebook group UPSC Preparation by Unacademy. So let's start our topic. So the Indian Constitution is unique in the contents and spirit because we have borrowed from almost every constitution of the world, and the Constitution of India has several features that distinguish itself from many other countries. So the several features can be seen in 7th Amendment, 42nd Amendment, 44 Amendment, 73, 74 and 97 amendments. So basically, it can be noted that at the outset that a number of original features of Constitution had gone a substantial change on the account of several amendments that has been taken place. So in fact, the 42nd Amendment is also known as the mini Constitution. Why? Because it's important and a large number of changes were made in various parts of the Constitution under this amendment. However, in the Keshwan and Bharti case in 1973, the Supreme Court ruled that the constituent power of Parliament under Article 368 does not enable them to alter the basic structure of the Constitution. So let's start with the basic features of our Constitution. The first feature is that it is the lengthiest written Constitution. The Constitution has been classified into 2, the written and the unwritten. So America has the written Constitution and England has the unwritten Constitution. So the Constitution of India is the lengthiest of all the written Constitution of the world. It is a very comprehensive, elaborative and a detailed document. So originally in 1949 we had 395 articles that were divided into 22 parts and 8 schedules. Then in 2003 we had 465 articles that were divided into 25 parts and we had 12 schedules. So we can also know that various amendments were carried out since 1951 and we have deleted about 20 articles, 1 part 7, and we have added 90 more articles. We have added 90 more articles, 4 parts, 4A, 9A, 9B, 15A, and 4 schedules, 9, 10, 11, 12. So basically there are 4 factors that are contributed to the lengthiest written constitution, that are: one is the geographical factor, that is the vastness of the country and its diversity; second, the historical factors that led to this formation, for example the influence of the Government of India Act in 1935, which was very bulky; the third, that the single constitution for both the center and the state except Jammu Kashmir, single constitution, now the single constitution is there for everyone; and the fourth one is the dominance of the legal numeraries in the Indian constitution, that we had a lot of legal term in Indian constitution. So the constitution contained not only fundamental principles of governance but also detailed administrative provisions, and furthermore those matters which were modern and democratic countries have been left to the ordinary legislation or established through political convention. So let's move on to the second, that we have drawn from various sources. So we have borrowed our constitution from various other constitutions of the world and the countries, as well as from the Government of Act in 1935. And B.R. Ambedkar proudly said that the Constitution of India has been framed after the ransacking of all known constitutions of the world. So basically, the structural part of the Constitution, to a large extent, derived from the Government of India Act of 1935, and the philosophical part and the directive principle have been derived from the American and Irish Constitution, and the political part has been taken from the British Constitution and other constitutions like Canada, Australia, Germany, USSR, France, and South Africa, and Japan, and many other countries like that. So this is a table in which it's written that from which countries we had taken all this. We have taken features from which countries, and you can clearly see this table. So you can take the screenshot of this table. It's very easy. You will able to learn it. Then let's come on to the third, that is the blend of rigidity and flexibility. Wow. The constitution are also classified into two. One is the rigid and second is the flexibility. So a rigid constitution, basically it requires a special provision for its amendment, like it's there in American, and the flexible constitution requires that can be amended in the same manner like any other ordinary law. Like we take example of Britain. So the Indian constitution is neither a rigid nor a flexible. So but it's a synthesis of both. So Article 368 provides two types of amendments. One, that some provisions can be amended by a special majority of the parliament, example like 2/3 majority of the members of each house is present, and the voting and the majority of total membership. And the second, that some other provision can be amended by a single majority of the parliament with the ratification by half of the total state. And at the same time, some provision of the constitution can be amended by a simple majority of the parliament in the matter of ordinary legislative process, and notably these amendments don't come under Article 368. So next we can talk about the federal system with the unitary bias. So basically the Constitution of India establishes a federal form of government. It contains all the features of a federation, like two government, division of powers written constitution, supremacy, rigidity of the constitution in the independent judiciary, and bicameralism. However, the Indian constitution also contains a large number of unitary or non-federal features, like a strong center, single constitution, single citizenship, a flexibility of integrated judiciary, appointment of state governor of the state, and etc. So moreover, the term federation has nowhere been used in the Indian constitution. Even in the Article 1, it clearly states that India as a union of state, which means the Indian Federation is not a result of any agreement and no states have the right to secede. So, K.C. Vera said that is the quasi-federal, and then Morris John said it's bargaining festival, federalism. Granville Austin used the term cooperative federalism, and many other scholars had given various names for the federalism of our country. Now let's come on to the next topic, that is parliamentary form of government. So this was adopted from the British government rather than American form. So we have cooperation and coordination between the legislative and executive organs, while the presidential form is totally based on separation of powers between the two organs. So the parliamentary form, on the other hand, is also known as Westminster model of government, that is also responsible for government and cabinet government. The constitution establishes a parliamentary system not only at center but also in the states. The features are mentioned here, like presence of nominal and real executives, then majority party rule, collective responsibility, then membership, leadership, and dissolution of lower house. So even though the Indian parliamentary system is based on the British pattern, there are some fundamental difference between two. One, that the Indian Parliament is not a supreme body like the British Parliament, and second, that within the head of the state in India is basically the president, whereas in Britain it's the hereditary head. It's a hereditary head, that is monarchy. So therefore, in a parliamentary system, whether in India or Britain, the role of prime minister has been so significant that it's very crucial for that the political scientists actually like to call it a prime ministerial government. Next, we can come on to the synthesis of parliamentary and sovereignty and judicial supremacy. So basically, the doctrine of sovereignty is associated with British, and this principle and the other principle, the principle of judicial supremacy, is associated with America. So why India differs over here is because due to the scope of judicial review, the power of Supreme Court, which is much more narrower over here as compared to America. And in America, they use the term due process of law, and in India we have procedure established by law under Article 21. So there is a proper synthesis and balance between them. So Supreme Court can declare the parliamentary laws as unconstitutional, and the Parliament can amend its constitution through its constituent power. So our next feature is that it is an integrated and independent judiciary. So basically, an Indian constitution establishes a judicial system that is integrated as well as independent. The Supreme Court stands at the top of the judicial system. Then we have the High Courts, and then we have the subordinate court, that is also known as district court and lower courts. So the Supreme Court is a federal court and the highest court of appeal, a guarantor of the fundamental rights of citizens and the guardian of the constitution. Hence, the constitution has made various provisions to ensure that its independence, security of tenure of the judges, fixed service conditions for the judges, all the expenses of Supreme Court, and charge of consolidated fund of India, and many other powers has been given to them. So our next topic is the fundamental rights. In the part 3, we have 6 main fundamental rights that are given to every citizen in our country. The first one is right to equality, that we have from articles number 14 to 18, right to freedom from article number 19 to 22, right against exploitation, article number 23 to 24, right to freedom of religion from articles 25 to 28, cultural educational rights from 29 to 30, and right to constitutional remedy. So we are promoting the idea of political democracy, and these are justable in nature, which means that it can be enforced. They are enforceable by the courts if it is violated by anyone, and an aggrieved person can directly go to the Supreme Court and can issue the writs like habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, and etc. Let's start with the ninth feature of the constitution is directive principle of state policy. So basically, according to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, this is one of the noble feature of the Indian Constitution, and they are enumerated in the part 4 of a constitution, and they can be classified in basically three broad categories. One is socialist, Gandhian, and liberal intellectual. So the directive principles are meant for promoting the ideal or social and economic democracy. This seeks to establish a welfare state in India. However, unlike the fundamental right, these directive principles are non-justiciable, and that means that they are not enforceable by the courts for the violation. Yet the constitution itself declares that these principles shall be the duty of the state to apply these principles in the making of law. Hence they impose a moral obligation on the state authorities for the application, but the real force, the sanction is behind them is political. That is basically the public opinion. So we can take the case of Minerva Mills case in 1918, जिसमें सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को बताया कि वो एक कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज फाउंडेड on the bedrock of balance between fundamental rights and directive principles. Then we have fundamental duties. So the original constitution did not provide us with the fundamental duties to all the citizens. They were added during the operation of internal emergency in 1975 to 77 by the 42nd Amendment on the recommend of Swan Singh Committee. So the 86 and one more duty was added in the 86th Amendment of the Constitution in 2002, and we have 11 fundamental duties. And in the slide we can see there are 11 fundamental duties, like to abide by the constitution, respected ideals and institution, national flag and anthem, to cherish and follow the noble ideal which inspired for our national struggle for freedom and etc. Then we come on to the next topic, that is the secular state. The Constitution of India stands for a secular state, hence it does not uphold any particular religion as the official religion of the Indian states. So some of the provisions are made in the constitution, like the term secular has been, as we know, the term secular has been added in the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. And the second, we can talk about the preamble actually secures to all citizens the liberty of belief, faith and worship, and then the state shall cannot deny to any person equality before law or equal protection of law under Article 14. So we have many fundamental rights under article. And the Western concept of secularism actually connotates a complete separation from religion, the church, and the state, the politics. So this negative concept of secularism is inapplicable in Indian form of constitution, where the society is multi-religious. Hence, the Indian constitution embodies the positive concept of secularism by giving equal respect to all religions and or protecting the religions equally. Next, we can talk about universal adult franchise. So basically, the Indian Constitution adopts universal adult franchise as the basis of elections to the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies, and a person can not less than 18 years of age has a right to vote. So it was previously reduced from 21 years to 18 in 1989 under the 61 Constitution Amendment Act of 1988. So basically, the introduction of universal adult franchise by the constitution makers was a bold experiment and highly remarkable in the view of large size of a country, क्योंकि हमारी पॉपुलेशन पॉवर्टी बहुत ज़्यादा थी, सोशल इनइक्वालिटी बहुत ज़्यादा थी और इलिटरेसी भी थी. सो यूनिवर्सल एडल्ट फ्रेंचाइज ने डेमोक्रेसी को और ब्रॉड बेस बनाया. It enhanced the self-respect, prestige of the common people, and it upholds the principles of equality and enables minority to protect their interests and opens up the new hope for the weaker section of our society. So next we can come on to the independent bodies, but we can also talk about the single citizenship that is provided in our country. Unlike US, where each person is not a citizen of US, is also citizen of a particular state that he belongs. But in India, irrespective of any other state, we also have single citizenship. So now let's come on to this topic, independent bodies. So basically, Indian Constitution not only provides for the legislative, executive, and judicial organs of the government, that is the central and the state, but it also establishes certain independent bodies that are there in our constitution, like election commission for holding free and fair elections. Then we have CAG to audit the accounts of central and state government. Then we have Union Public Service Commission to conduct the recruitment of all India civil servants. Then we have the State Public Service that conducts the examination for recruitment of state services. Now the next feature is the emergency provision. So the Indian Constitution has certain contains elaborate emergency provision to enable the president to meet any extraordinary situation very efficiently. So the rationality behind this incorporation of these provision is basically to safeguard the sovereignty, unity, integrity, and security of the country. So basically, the constitution has three types of emergency. The first one is national emergency that can take place in war or internal aggression under Article 352. Then we have state emergency. That means if there is a failure of constitutional morality over there, or a failure from them to comply on the direction of center. Then we have financial emergency. That means if we have any threat to our financial security. So during an emergency, the central government becomes all powerful and the states go into total control of the center. So it converts a federal structure into a unitary form without a formal amendment in the constitution. So next we can come to this next feature, that is the three-tier government. That we know that original Indian Constitution, like any other federal government, provided dual polity and contained the provision with regarding to the organization and the powers of the centers and state. But later, under the 73rd and 74th Amendment in 1992, we have a third tier of government, that is the local, which is not found in any other constitution of world. So basically, the 73rd Amendment gave the constitution recognition to all the panchayats, that means the rural area, by adding in part 9 and a new 11th schedule to the constitution. Similarly, the 74th Amendment gave constitutional recognition to the municipalities under the local government, under the urban local government, that by adding a new part in part 9A and a new schedule 12 to the constitution. Then we come on to our last feature, that is the cooperative society. So basically, under 1997 constitutional amendment of 2011, it gave a constitutional status and protection to the cooperative societies. So basically, in this context, it made the following three changes. One, that हम कभी भी cooperative societies बना सकते हैं, हमारा fundamental right है, और इसमें हमारे डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसीज भी है, तो इसे प्रमोट करेंगे हम कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी को. और तीसरा जो है कि ये मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज फॉर्म हो सकती है. तो इसमें द न्यू पार्ट इन 9B contains a various provisions to ensure that the cooperative societies in the country function in a democratic, professional, autonomous, and economic sound manner. So it basically it empowers the parliament in respect of multi-state cooperative societies and the state legislatures, in respect to the other cooperative societies, to make the appropriate law. So all these are the schedules. So you can take a screenshot of this. Then let's come on to the criticism. By ending our presentation, let's discuss these criticisms. First, that many scholars had criticized the constitution that it had been borrowed from a lot of constitutions. However, this criticism might be as unfair or illogical, but this is because the framers of constitution made it necessary to modify all the features that has been borrowed from various constitutions, and that should be suitable for the Indian condition. So in the same by avoiding their faults, then we can see that it is a carbon copy of 1935 Act directly, because the critics said that the framers of the constitution have included a large number of provisions of the Government of India Act of 1935 into our Indian constitution, and hence they call it as a carbon copy or an amended version of the 1935 Act. Then we come on to that the next criticism, that it is un-Indian or anti-Indian. Why? Because according to the critics, the Indian constitution is un-Indian or anti-Indian because it does not reflect the political tradition and spirit of India. They said that the foreign nature of the constitution makes it unsuitable to the Indian situation or unworkable. Next, we can come on to next criticism, that this is un-Gandhian constitution. And according to the critics, the Indian constitution is un-Gandhian because it does not contain the philosophy and ideals of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of nation, and his ideas like Panchayati Raj and to build independent village was basically put in the directive principle. Then we can come on to the next criticism, that we talk about, that this the critic also said it consists too bulky details and some are unnecessary elements in our constitution. Then the last criticism that they gave, that according to the critics, the Indian constitution is too legalistic and very complicated. So it's very difficult for a common person to understand their language. Thank you so much. If you really like my video, then please share and comment, and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.